Good afternoon and welcome to what is now week 25 and 26 of 2025. It's flying by. So remember, Academy members, we've got an event coming up on the 18th of July. So I'm going to stick to the check-ins. We're going to try not to go on too many tangents if we can help it, because we've got a lot of stuff coming up. So what? Try and stick to the check-ins on this one. Remember, if you want to talk about anything, use your WhatsApp group with myself in it and Lee. And if you're not an Academy member, look at the box below and find out more about it if you want to. But let's move on to our check-ins for week 25, 26. We've got obviously a few of you that I've spoke to individually, because obviously a bit more complicated than doing it on a check-in like this. But some really good stuff to get through, some really positive things, some good lessons to look at for everybody here. So the first one we're going to do is for Johnny. So Johnny, celebrating wins. We are very busy. And leads are coming in on a steady stream. Just quoted our second bathroom and we are booked up till November. Now, considering where you came from, to say that you're so far booked up like this now is really, really good. But it's amazing, really. And I think you guys will be happy with that. I'm sure you are. So I think what we need to do now is just double down on the leads. Make sure you know where the leads are coming from and make sure that you know that there's profit in every job. So please make sure that you use your WhatsApp group and send us a bit more of a detailed, where exactly is everything up to. Maybe let's send us a loom going through your CRM or something where you're explaining the jobs to us, just so you're taking a moment also to reflect on, right, where are these leads coming from? Where what can I double down on? And I know you're oversubscribed already, but what can you double down on? And just making sure that the profit is in there. We want to make sure we maintain this now. That's all I'm sort of getting at. So personal growth, obviously you got this issue with your ears, giving you vertigo and all that stuff. So again, like you've said, life will always throw something at you when you're doing well to try and fucking stop you. But again, your mindset is always good and you'll keep going, and no doubt. So there's no concerns there. You mentioned that you'll get back on your cash flow and scorecard ASAP. They are important. And you mentioned obviously getting the kitchens and quotes out of taking the priority. But like I said, make sure if you're going to take your eye off the paperwork for a week or two, just make sure that in the back of your head that there's profit in those jobs. So when you come back to it, you're not coming back to a fucking disaster. Do you get what I mean? You want to make sure that, the basics are getting done at the quoting stage and you're managing the jobs and making a profit, okay? But like I say, get back on the routine. When people get busy, this is what they do. They start taking their eye off the scorecard and the cash flow sheet because they go on busy, they've got loads of work. And that is the worst time to stop focusing on those things, because you're creating momentum now in your business. And there's a risk here for everybody. When you start, because everyone thinks all leads are never going to come, it's going to take forever. And then the next problem is fucking I'm too busy. So we need to stay disciplined there, and we need to make sure that when you build this momentum, the cash flow starts doing that. Bang, bang, bang. And if you stop doing the stuff like on the scorecard and keeping your feet to the fire on the 90 minutes and the weekly to-dos and all that, things will catch up with you, basically. And although you got loads of leads at the minute, if we don't double down on the leads, we don't understand where things are coming from, and we don't get a grip of that and stay in control of it, at some point it will go quiet, so don't get cocky and be like, right, well, no. And this is what people do. They go, I don't need to do that fucking scorecard and that anymore because I'm Charlie fucking big potatoes. But then it all catches up with them because the momentum, it's a delayed reaction. Everything that you're experiencing now is from what you did months and months and months and months ago. Do you know what I mean? It's that momentum, but it takes a long time for it to build up. And it's a delayed reaction, like I've said. But what is also a delayed reaction is when you slow down with the important cash flow scorecard and all that stuff, it hits you in a different way later. So please don't take your eye off the ball just because it's busy, just because you think you might make money, just because you're oversubscribed with leads and all the rest of it. Get back on those disciplines and make sure that you keep the business moving. It's probably a time to look at recruiting, because obviously what you've said next in areas for support, we are almost too booked, and a lot of leads don't want to wait till November. I'm not openly telling them that we are booked up that far ahead, as I don't want, because I want to get them in the sales process, because I feel once we get a quote and designs to them, they will be happy to wait. Yes, they will. It seems to be every lead's first question at the moment. But it is what it is, and people are like that this time of year, because everyone's like, "Oh, I want it done for Christmas." They've got barbecues, they've got stuff, they want to show off, they want family round. But it's tough shit, innit? At the end of the day, this is where people need to, plan ahead, but they don't. It always amazes me how much of a big purchase kitchens and bathrooms are, but people fucking rush them, and it's like, yeah. But yeah, you're right in the sense that you want to just get them in the sales process and worry about it later. Let it become their problem, not yours. But this is, I think, a time to recruit. So another thing that we need to do is looking at recruitment and making sure that you're starting to, not take a step back, but build a team. That's the next phase now. Build a team, get on your leads, profit, your paperwork, organize your business, and probably get another pair of hands on the pump. So let's have a chat about that once you've mulled it over. Concerns you've put just your health, obviously, with the thing in your ear, but that'll come and go. Looking ahead, getting a handle on that issue and keep pushing forward. And like I said, that's the end of your check-in. That's all you've put for me. But great work. You got momentum. Let's not lose it. Let's double down, making sure we've got profit. We get back on this cash flow scorecard, the weekly to-dos. We keep building the brand. We don't take our foot off the gas. We get an extra pair of hands in to help. I think they're your actions. That's what you need to do. And go through your looms go through your CRM and do as a loom and just say, this is where my leads are coming from. And let's analyze these things a little bit more. Okay. But all positive, mate. Happy with that one. Well done. Fucking fantastic. Right. Next one. So we've got. Coming up next, we have got. Let's shut that down. Sorry. Right, we've got Rachel next. So celebrating wins, getting back into a working rhythm after both having to take time out when restarting, realizing the power of past connections and time previously spent nurturing relationships. Having the 90-minute planning system has also meant a system was in place to pick up from where I left off. Making local connections with the right people. Again, we strayed from networking, something that has worked for us. So we were both doing more of this. Yeah, I mean, I think networking for kitchen and bathroom people is like a really massively untapped resource. I think it's something that people overlook a lot, and I did it myself, and made some great connections, got some work from it, back in the day, and being an academy member. At the root of it, it's about being a local, trustworthy business, and networking is just inevitably part of that. So I would say, especially with your characters that are in your business, I think you're going to do well if you get in front of people. You're going to do well. So you need to, like I've just said in the last check-in, double down on what your assets are, what your most powerful assets are. Double down on them, and networking for you is definitely that. But again, glad that you've made use of the systems we've put in place for you, and you found it easy to pick up from where you left off. And like I say, it sounds like you know where you're heading there. So personal growth, building health back up, learning to manage time better, reading books on business and time management, joining a health club, brilliant. Look after yourself, the business. Look after yourself, and you can look after the business, and then the business will look after you. That's the sort of cycle that we go around. And if we are knackered and unhealthy, the business doesn't stand a chance because you don't stand a chance. So putting your health first is always it's not even an option, to be honest. It's not really an option. You may get some short-term success if you're not very healthy, but really successful people are generally quite healthy, generally are, because the mindset of being healthy and running a business go hand in hand. You don't get people that are really successful that don't take the health seriously. Generally, I know there are some exceptions, but as a general rule, prioritizing your health is massive. So moving on, areas for support. You've put reviews. We don't need specific support. We don't need to do this is an area where we can. We're trying to grow with smaller jobs. Yeah, but go back to some of your old connections. You just said there 2 paragraphs ago that you've got all these old connections. Well, surely to God, some of them will help you with these reviews, and you know what I mean. Have you done work for any of them? Who could you go back to over the last 5 to 10 years that you've done work for? Who can help you there? Think outside the box. You could probably pick up 5 to 10 reviews. Don't do them all in the same week, but spread them out over a 4, 5, 6 week period. But write a list of everyone that you go, wow, I reckon they'd help me, they'd do it. I've worked for them. Whatever you need to do to get those reviews. Write the list of people out, get at least 10, because there'll definitely be at least 10 you could do. As many as you can. And even if you wrote the review for them and said, get a chat GPT to write you a review based on this customer's name, this type of job, and say, will you just copy and paste this onto Google? Here's the link. So send them the link and go, I've wrote this review. I really appreciate if you could help me. I think this is in the academy anyway, so go and look at this in the 12 steps. But pre-write the review for them and send it to them with the link to your Google page. And I just ask them to copy and paste it, literally. Do the work for them, because that's why people don't leave you reviews, because they can't be asked. What do I say? Give them something to say and send it to them. Okay, and let's try and get you getting some reviews. So your action there is 10 reviews. Go and get them. Concerns. We've been forced to eat far too many shit sandwiches. Yeah, but like I say, I'm just reading you check-in without reading it out loud. Not that it's that bad, but obviously we should have to handle, but the experience has taught us that grit and determination, resilience is, and this is it. If you can take bullets, you'll survive. And we have to make choices. Life is difficult. Period. Life is tough for us all, and we either choose to roll with the punches or we choose to lie down. The punches are going to come. The punches are happening all the time. And if you, I don't know. I don't like being like too hard on people, but to succeed at the highest level, obviously it's extremely difficult. But to succeed in the academy, it's doable, even if you sometimes do laps, but you've got to set your own standards at it and be mindful that, it's up to you at the end of the day. It's like, and it sounds terrible, this, but it's like when something bad happens in life and people's heads fall off, and it's like, but at the end of the day, unless you've got serious mental illness, it's up to you how long you let things stop you for. It really is, because people always say to me, oh, well, your answer to everything is work and, being busy and da-da-da. I said, but your brain works that way. Your brain is a fucker. If you let it, it will ruin everything. You've got to get in control of it. And the only way you get in control of it is by giving it things to do. So if you sit there and mull over the shit that's happened in life and, you just dwell on things and you sit in that shit all the time, you'll just never move forward. Whereas sometimes you've got to go, right, that's happened, but fucking this also needs to happen. So give this the time it needs, but not too much. Don't give it the time it wants, if that makes sense, because all the shit in your life, your brain wants to think about it all the time. Your brain wants, oh, let's go and get depressed about that. Let's fucking eat shit and let's not do the things that are good for us because we want to wallow in this shit constantly. That's what your brain wants to do. But when you get in control of it, you go, no, here's the focus, here's the vision. That's what we really need to do. Then let's go for it. And then your brain goes there. And then, all right, you stop and think about these things sometimes. But shit happens. and going back in time and fixing things isn't an option, is it? So how long do you let things stop you for? That is a choice. So make that choice and move on as fast as you can. That's the way I look at things. And even if, when things have happened to me that are bad, even bereavements and all that, and stuff, you just think, well, life moves on, doesn't it? And your life is also ticking away every day. So you just have to get on with it. Looking ahead, we're getting back into the game. We need to do daily, monthly habits to keep things moving. We have supports for that with the printed checklist. Yes, you do. And we have joined KBB Academy Plus. Yep. So case studies. We have some good projects coming up, and I really want to showcase our products and service. I'm guilty of not capturing the right info, making case studies look fantastic. So be mindful to capture what we need and to ensure we get the 5-star reviews. Just make sure that when you're on site, you're just hammering pictures all the time. Just get a WhatsApp group set up for every job. Make sure every job's got a WhatsApp group, and then say to people every day. What I used to say to the guys is, at the end of every day, open the WhatsApp group and put in the pictures of the site. Because I wasn't there on site, I used to say to the people working for me, at the end of every day, I want you to send me pictures of the site. So if the customer rings me up and says, "Well, Summer," I can see what the route, how it was left. So again, these will turn into your progress pictures. So make sure that every day you're getting updates off whoever's on site, okay? And you're just storing these images in the WhatsApp group. And then at the end of the job, when they put the completion pictures on there, you've got the before, afters, the designs, just by default. You don't have to make an effort to do it. You just need to make sure that every day you've got these images being collected in the WhatsApp group. So make sure you do that. Cool. That's you. So again, it's just about getting back in the game for you guys, and making sure that you are, staying focused and not getting knocked down all the time, because the next punches will come, and you just got to take them. Life is shit, whether you're trying to build a business or not half the time. So I always say, pick your hard. If you want it to be hard and your skin, or you want it to be hard and you've got some money in a decent business, then either way it's going to be hard. So just pick fucking one. And I know that you're here, and so you've chose the business route and then the success route. So it's time, as always, every day to commit. Success is only rented, and the rent is due every day. Okay. Right, moving on. So next one we've got Enzo. So celebrating wins, no subby work booked in at all, and making the jump. I've got labour only work booked, but I'm fine with this as it's come through my business directly, so it's not subcontracting. Well, you're in control of your destiny, aren't you? And that's great. Made a sale last week, and maybe 2 following after positive feedback. 2 of these have come through recommendations, 1 through my leaflet drop. Brilliant. Have about 3 other quotes still, which came from Checkatrade and recommendations. Set up my office with my new screens and tablet for surveys. It's just amazing, mate, what you've achieved. And just by going at, the thing is with you, you're just one of them, like the turtle. Not that, it's probably, I'm not trying to insult you there. But, you've just gone at it steady. You've not made any, you've not tried to run. You've just gone, right, I'm just plodding, doing it. If I've got a question, I'll ask, but I'm just going to keep going. And this is just the result of consistent action. Remember what I've said, not big action, just consistent action. Massive goals don't need massive action. They just need consistent action. And you've achieved a massive goal just through a consistent action every week, every month, sticking to it, not fucking making excuses, not deviating off, not coming up with bigger and better ideas because they're yours, and you don't want to listen to us and all that shit like what some people do. And you've been dedicated to this process and the academy itself, and you've just done everything by the letter of the law, and you followed it perfectly. I don't think there's many better examples of an academy member, to be honest. I think, everybody should be taking a leaf out of your book, because you've demonstrated that you just put your head down, get on with it, trust us. This is what happens. You end up in a place where you've not just got leads coming from one place, you've got multiple looking at this. You're getting recommendations, you're getting leaflets, you've got Checkatrade. There's 3 places that you're getting leads from already. So you have listened to us as well, where we've said, don't just rely on one thing. Make sure you do a bit of everything, because that'll be what grows your brand. It's really good, mate. It really is. Personal growth, feeling control of my diary, hoping to have more time out. More time out of my hands and work in the office. Yeah, well, we need a bit of office time, mate. Again, you'll find your productivity, you'll get into your groove, you'll get better and better and better at this now. I can see it coming. Really proud of you, mate. Honestly, it's really good. Areas for support. I feel like my jobs have great areas from when I'm having conversations with the customers. Things are getting missed off being right down and come off the job. Forgot about conversations. Right, so what it sounds to me like you're doing here is you are having conversations on site. Anything that's verbalized needs to be put in writing. You've got to. So on your 2D plan and on your quote, you need to put notes that say exactly clearing these things up. So obviously when you're on a survey, because you're a nice guy, you're probably saying things, customers saying things, something's getting lost in translation. And then on the job, there's a bit of confusion. It's normal. This is part of the learning process. But on your 2D plan, what I used to do was put like a notes box. So I put like an NB or note or whatever, and then clarify any sort of verbal agreements. So something that might not be able to go on the quote per se, because it's not quite an item. It's maybe like a detail. Make sure you annotate the drawing properly with notes about things, about exactly what's happening on the job. If there's any nuances around a certain part of the installation or the project, whatever it might be, just make sure that you're putting it on the quote and you're putting it on the 2D plan. It sounds to me like that, because if you put them on there and they sign it, it's part of the contract, and you can just always say, well, here it is, that's what we agreed, just for clarity. But it sounds to me like if you're sort of having conversations, you're not putting it in writing, you're not putting it on your 2D plan or in your quote, and then when they sign it, it's not there. Oh, but we said this. You can't have that. You'll lose that argument every time, because the customer's got the cash at the end of the day, so you can't go to fucking war with them. So yeah, you need to make sure that you're being a bit stricter. It sounds to me like you're being a bit too loose with your paperwork. So make sure you get that sorted, please. So closing off your paperwork is your main one there, mate. Concerns, nothing major. Just want to feel like my job planning is strong, which I feel like it could be better. Okay, so watch this space on the job planning, because we are bringing new services into the academy to help with that, or around project management and stuff like that. So keep us posted if you've got any problems, and we will also update you in due course on what's coming up. Looking ahead, get 90 minutes cemented weekly, push bathrooms more, find a better find a fitter to take the reins with the fitting on the kitchens. Yeah, so you got recruitment strategy in there. Get your 90 minutes done. Like I've said previously in the other check-ins, don't take your foot off the gas now. Don't lose focus on the things that are really important. Don't forget the basics just because you're getting busy. Do not get cocky. The basics still need to be done all the time. We don't come away from the basics just because we're getting bigger and we're getting more work and more money and all the rest of it. This is a fucking banana skin that people step on so often, and it pisses me off because it's just ego. They get going, they take the foot off. I don't need to do that anymore. I say this all the time, but I see it all the time, and it pisses me off. Business doesn't get more complicated it's more of the same, just on a bigger scale. Whereas sometimes when people get busy, they go, right, well, that basic shit, I don't need to do that anymore. What's the next level for me? It's like, no, the basic shit is what keeps you going. It's just doing it better and better and better and better every time. I'm perfecting it. So, just work on that. Work on perfecting it, and you'll be fine. But don't take your eye off the ball. You know what you're doing here. Just keep us close, okay? Right, cool. Let's move on. So, next one we've got is Jay. So, completed the kitchen and bathroom. So, completed the kitchen and bathroom job with a very happy and complimentary client, which is always the best way to finish a job, definitely. Paid the last chunk off my credit card, finally. I love it when people clear debts down in the academy. It really, makes me happy that we get a lot of this off people that are clearing off debts and, having a really good time, or, starting to have a better time than what they were, not like it's a party in the academy, but you get what I'm saying. It's people are taking these steps forward. It's brilliant. Obviously you've had your headache issue, so yeah, having that sorted definitely helps when you're working on the laptop. Again, I'm glad to see that you're putting some more time and effort into that, mate. Sounds like since our chat, things have gone well. Since a couple of weeks ago. So personal growth. Stopped drinking a while ago, apart from the odd wine every now and then. There's nothing wrong with that. Eating more healthy. Lost weight and feel much better in myself. Yeah, you looked really good when I seen you at the event, mate. You looked really healthy, fresh. Yeah, loving it. So yeah. And again, like I said in the previous check-ins tonight, you need to remember that, your brain and body is the first priority in growing a business, because if they're fucked, the business is fucked. So moving on, areas for support, getting more noticed, and my own jobs coming in. Remember what we said about this? We're depending on this guy too much. So, let's see what happens there. And like I say, give us some more insight on that. Just do me a favor, use your WhatsApp group to tell us a bit more about what you mean there specifically in terms of getting more noticed and your own jobs coming in. I want to dig into that more with you. So I'm going to put a note on there. So do that for me, please, mate. Let's have a look at that. Need to redo the builders campaign to make myself stand out more. It's got nothing from the last builders campaign. Again, what did you do? What didn't you do? Let's learn from that. There's definitely stuff you wouldn't have done right. How many phone calls did you make? How many meetings did you have? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There is a market out there, mate. So let's have another crack at that and keep us close. Yeah. Concerns, nothing that's not manageable on my own. Brilliant. Looking ahead, trying to get out there and find more jobs, as always. But it looks like since our chat a few weeks ago that you've obviously listened to not being over reliant on that guy that you were doing a lot of work for. So I'm glad that you've taken a little step towards your own destiny there. So moving on, and this is our last one now. So so this one is Mick. So I like this one, and yeah, this one shouldn't have made it into this clinic, but it dropped. It dropped on me, so I thought I'll just do it. So celebrating wins. Had a meeting with my accountant last Monday. He said I doubled my profits last year, and I'm looking on course to double up again this year. My wife and I have obviously noticed all the extra hours I've been putting into the business, so this for me was a massive win and shows it's all worth it. Well, it sounds like things are going in the right direction, mate. Your business is going to do well. You're going to do well. I think it's just a given. I think you just need to double down on the areas where you let it slip sometimes. But these things. I'm not going to preach to you. We've had conversations about it previously. You know what it is you need to do more of and what you need to get better at. But your personality and the way that you are as a guy is just amazing. And just the way you carry yourself and deal with people in general means that people like you are always going to do well in this world, especially in a business like this. You know, you're the epitome of what that local guy would be, you know, who people would gravitate to, who would come to if they've got a kitchen or bathroom to do. And, you know, you just got to get yourself out there a bit more, you know, and get more people knowing who you are. So personal growth, after breaking my collarbone last year, I finally healed enough to get back to the gym a few times a week. Brilliant, which has helped me lose a few pounds and get back in a nice healthy routine again. I mean, you know, that in itself is a massive win. You know, as I've said plenty of times tonight, the body and the brain is the biggest priority before the business, because the business ain't going to go far without a healthy one of those. But again, getting back into the gym, getting some natural dopamine and endorphins released, you know, into your bloodstream to get your motivation levels up is just a really good positive impact for you to be in the gym, full stop. So well done for that, mate, and keep it going. Areas for support, the CRM mainly, but I need to go back and watch the clinic, so everything I will need now. Well, just join the clinic as well, mate. Make sure on a Thursday at 4:00 you're turning up. It's on every Thursday at 4:00, so it's on tomorrow, and it's on the Thursday after, believe it or not, because it's every Thursday. But turn up to the clinics and ask questions. You know, you'll learn stuff. People that are turning up to the clinics are learning things. Some people just turn up to have an earwig. Some people have questions, but everybody learns in the process, because there'll be stuff that people ask you, oh, I didn't think of that. And then, oh yeah, so do you know what I mean? And that's what it's about. It's about hanging around with the right people. So, you know, everyone on these clinic calls is you know, there for that reason. So until you've got the CRM absolutely cooking on gas, and even when you're good at the CRM, I'd still turn up to the clinic, even if you just stick it on in your van and, you know, you're just listening, because there'll always be stuff to learn, you know, because the CRM changes every now and then and there's new features. So it's about keeping up to speed with it as well. So concerns, I suppose the only thing holding me back is previous experience. Having had my last business fold just before COVID, I'm just a bit skeptical about taking on new fitters. I think this is part of the reason why I've been relaxed and taking things slow and steady. But there's nothing wrong with that. I'm very proud of my work and I keep it to a very high standard. I don't want to rush in and take too much work and get back in that position where I'm having to use fitters to cover jobs that don't really give a fuck about the client and or the finish, and are just in it for the wage. Yeah, I think obviously this is always the fucking banana skin, isn't it? You know, bringing someone else into your business. But good fitters are out there, and they're fitting for the sheds. So there are good fitters out there, mate. Go into the academy and look at the recruitment bit. Go and watch the clinic from last week or 2 weeks ago, sorry, where we talked a lot about recruitment. So in the last clinic, I'm pretty sure I covered it. So go back and watch that. I'll send it you in your WhatsApp group as well. I'll send you the link to it. So go and have a look at that, please. And let's not be pessimistic about this before we even try. There will be someone out there. There will be people out there that can help you. You've already said you're taking it slow and steady, and you are on site looking after the client. So you're not in a position where you're forced to thrust somebody in and take a big risk. You've got opportunity here to do this properly and not put yourself at risk and not let the jobs fuck up. You know, you're not like, right, I've got to do 3 jobs a month and then I've just got to throw him in and hope for the best. Fuck that. You know, I know sometimes that has to happen, and I know I've done it myself and people have done it and it doesn't always work out. It rarely works out. So yeah, you've got the opportunity to do it properly. So let's do it properly. Keep us close in your WhatsApp group and let's talk about this as it unfolds. Yeah. Keep us close to this. Yeah. Looking ahead, main plan for me is action in the 12 steps and make them my daily routine. Watch a CRM clinic and make sure I'm using it properly. Speak to and hire extra body to help with the day-to-day admin. Start vetting installers. So, well, yeah, you've said it yourself there, then, haven't you? So, yeah, admin support, recruitment you're aware of. Get someone to help you with your admin. Yeah, and the 12 steps, make sure that you're working through those 12 steps and use your 90-minute sessions to watch the videos and implement the stuff. Don't just watch the videos. Yes, watch them all once, but then go back and watch them properly and implement things as you go. I'd say the biggest one that people need to spend a bit of time on is sort of step, I think it's 3 and 4, the quoting and the cash flow, because that seems to be what everyone struggles with. Once you get your head around the maths and the numbers and the quoting and understanding all that, everything else is a lot easier, because that's where the mental load is. Once you can price properly and you're confident with it, everything else feels easier. Again, I don't know if you're in KBB Academy Plus, but if you're now looking at trying to save time, I would look at that, because you want to grow your brand. You're looking at admin support. You're looking at a fitter. Obviously, you got to watch your costs, because it is a bit more money every month. But I think this is that step now where you've got to look at, do I take some of this shit away, like blogs, case studies, and search engine optimization? Let us do that, and then you've got more time to focus on everything else. So as you work through the 12 steps, you just took 3 steps out of it. Do you get what I mean? So you're now into the 9 steps. So yeah, I'd look at KB Academy Plus if you're not already in it. My apologies if you are. I haven't got that information to hand, because obviously there's quite a few people in there now. So yeah, I think that's it. Like I say, keep us close on all these issues, and not issues, but things that are bubbling away. Don't be silent. You've got access to us. Make sure you use us. And yeah, well done, mate. You have took it slow and steady, but you're still here. You're one of the first people that were here, and there's no signs of it slowing down for you. And it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So don't worry about it too much. Just let's crack on. Okay, right. We're done for now. Don't forget, we've got an event on the 18th. When is that? Because we're in July now, aren't we? So we've got 18th there. So will we do another one of these clinics? 1, 2. Well, there'll be one of these clinics 2 days before the event. So again, we're sort of getting ready for that now. So yeah, there'll be a lot to talk about in the lead up. So yeah, any questions? Don't forget to use your WhatsApp groups, Academy members. Make sure that if you've got any concerns, you're not sitting on them. You're using the support that you've got access to, and keeping things moving. But everyone's doing really well. I mean, I'm not worried about anyone really. Obviously, there's always concerns and things to worry about per se, but they're only the things that you would expect to hear. I'm not hearing stuff and I'm like, oh fucking hell, that's bad. Overall, everyone seems to be having the normal growing pains as businesses do. All right. But we'll leave it there. Let us know if you need anything, and we'll see you on this clinic again in 2 weeks' time. Don't forget that if you want to have your check-in responded to like this, then you use the check-in link and make sure you get it in before the Monday before. So you've got a week on Monday now to get your check-ins in before the next clinic. Some of them are due on here, some of them are due privately. So again, I'm trying not to make these clinics too long, because I want to try and keep it bite-sized as much as I can. But I know some of them go on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, and it is what it is. But you've got until a week Monday, 1 o'clock, to get your check-ins in. Again, if you want to remain anonymous, you don't have to have your name read out or anything like that. And I generally do skip things if they are personal anyway. So, no one's going to get embarrassed. All right. Right, guys. Don't forget, you got the clinic tomorrow at 4. We've got the Facebook Live, the live stream on next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So there's loads coming up. You got an event coming up. You got bloody clinics all the time. You've got check-ins, your WhatsApp group. Let's keep the momentum going. All right. See you in a bit.